Well, gang. It is Monday and we are back. It is Conversations in Vitality. Ariel Jarvis, how are you?
I'm good. I don't know where
Excellent.
our beautiful sunshine is, though. Oh my goodness, it's
I,
coming.
I
It's coming.
it's
We have a couple more days till summer, so it's a little bit late, but that's okay.
I
How
know
are you?
what is going on with this June and gloom thing. Anyway, as always, James Gardner here as well. Each week we bring you the latest kind of insights, top of mind questions, some things that we're seeing in the clinic that Ariel wants to educate and share with our community at large. So today, Ariel, we are. This is my athletic kind of geek hat coming on, and in terms of high performance, and the word adaptogens gets thrown around the performance labs in my sector, and I know it's a big thing for the arena of life because we are all athletes at some point in our life in terms of our goals and dreams. Adaptogens, we hear this a lot. Let's start, Ariel, by educating us on what is an adaptogen.
Great question. So, first of all, adaptogens can come in three forms, and so they can come in the form of plants, herbs, or roots. And depending on the form, you can have them in a capsule, a tea, a tincture, and the dosage will vary and the duration will vary before you will see the benefits. This is used for energy, much like coffee. However, unlike coffee, where coffee stimulates your fight or flight and raises your cortisol and creates more cellular stress, adaptogens do the opposite. They actually keep your body in homeostasis and they start to clean up anything that creates free radical damage or affects the DNA or affects the cells in any negative way, and it only promotes good. So depending on what type of adaptogen you take, which we'll talk about, and I'll talk about my favorite ones, you'll see benefits that are based on what form and how you take it. And so when it comes to your fitness or your health for your brain or prevention, risk of Alzheimer's, especially, or cardiovascular, or when it comes to burnout, you go, you're firing those adrenals. Maybe you're training for the Olympics, or maybe you're training for something, peak performance, and your body is it can't regulate that much cellular stress. Or maybe you went through a job change or divorce or a loss. That's stress on the body. So it's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, cognition.
Sure,
And so
sure.
adaptogens will work on that and create homeostasis within the inflamed area.
Okay, so by definition, adaptogen is adapting. It allows the body to adapt to the stress responses that could happen physically, emotionally, cellularly, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it brings it up to and for us lay people out there, myself included, homeostasis is
So you have your overall normal range for your hormones, your health, everything. There's a baseline that your body performs optimally, the best. So if something's too low, adaptogens will bring it up. If something's too high, an adaptogen will bring it down. So it will balance whatever is too high or too low that is creating a negative impact on your health.
got it. Excellent. And just to circle back to the plants, herbs, and roots. Now, adaptogens by definition, are there synthetic adaptogens out in the world?
So, of course, pharmaceutical companies are in the process of making synthetic ones because they see the benefit.
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is that Eastern medicine's been around for 2,000 years, whereas Western medicine's been around for 200 years. And every single herb has been patented and formulated in a lab to create a synthetic compound so that you can make money and turn it into a drug and sell it, with the pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies cannot sell something that is naturally grown unless they add something synthetic to it to create a hybrid compound. So these adaptogens are naturally occurring in nature.
Right.
You know, or natural companies will take these and grow them in greenhouses and things like that, but it's still natural. They haven't tainted the DNA structure. But is it coming? Of course, because that's what pharmaceutical companies do, right?
Right. Okay, so we've established what it is. In terms of how they work, you got into a little bit, but I just want to circle back to the stress response. So if we have a stressor that is, let's say, causing inflammation in a certain area of the body, certain types of adaptogens then would focus in. So they go into the biggest stress indicators probably and work to, as you said, bring a homeostasis to that area, i.e. reduce inflammation. Is that correct?
Correct. I like to think of it in terms of a soccer game. Okay. You have the field, you have all the players, they all know their position and they all know their role. And collectively as a team, the goal is to win the game. So collectively as a team, if you are taking multiple adaptogens, they actually work better together and they perform better for you because the end goal is homeostasis, which is peak performance.
Right. Very important. Peak performance in life. This isn't just a sports thing. One of the questions that just came in from our community, and I know we're going to get into the types and the different, I think you said at one point there's over 20 or so different types of adaptogens. But the question is green tea. Is green tea an adaptogen or is it an antioxidant? Is there a difference?
So green tea has a little bit of caffeine in it. So it falls underneath the category of coffee and other sorts of antioxidant herbs or stimulants. But with green tea, because coffee has an antioxidant effect, so does green tea, but it's still not as effective as adaptogens. It's not in the same category. So we'll get into my top 6 and then we'll get into some other adaptogens. But no, green tea is not an adaptogen, but it does stimulate caffeine, giving you energy, and it does release antioxidants to fight free radicals. So there's a lot of health benefits as well as mental clarity and all fun stuff.
And the caffeine, though, would potentially stimulate the fight or flight, which is different than what the adaptogens do, is what you said, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Cool. So let's get into your top 6 then of what you categorize as the power 6 of adaptogens.
So my first one that I've been using all throughout my fitness, goals and everything this last year was something that many people are familiar with is ashwagandha. That one actually has been proven to reduce cortisol. It is used for increasing muscle mass. It helps with muscle stress and muscle fatigue. So it helps with recovery. It helps with mental stress, mental fatigue, and cognitive fatigue. So if you're constantly at the computer or you're studying for an exam or you're out there, doing Tabata, or some crazy workouts, the recovery is totally there. So mentally, physically, and emotionally, homeostasis. So I love ashwagandha. I take it in capsules. I take it in a drink. I take it all day. I love it. So it's not something that's going to affect your sleep. So you can take lots. And the beautiful thing with adaptogens, if you take too much, you'll just get a little bit of diarrhea. So you'll know if you've taken too much, where you're not going to have these long-lasting physiological responses or conditions. You can't hurt yourself.
Okay, good to know. Okay. So number 1 is ashwagandha. Number 2
is tulsi, also known as holy basil.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and that one is more for sexual performance. So, as we get older, things start to get a little bit more tired and they don't work as well for men and women. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It destroys free radicals and it works on a process called immodulating, which helps your immune system modulate, working with the immune system, and it reduces any toxins in the body that are environmental creating issues with your hormones. It helps with your sleep quality. And it also has been proven to reduce high blood pressure and neurological conditions and diseases.
In terms of sexual performance, is it a vasodilator? Is it a testosterone enhancer? How does it work in terms of that?
It works on vasodilation, so it works on blood flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get into maca, which works on testosterone, but this one works on vasodilation. Okay. So anything to do with the cardiovascular system as well, your heart, your valves, your capillaries, your arteries, your veins.
Yeah. Cool. Number 3.
Asian ginseng. So we have 3 different types of ginseng. I actually take all 3. I like to mix all of these into a drink in the morning. I call it a morning elixir. And so I put all of these in a drink with some honey, and it's quite lovely. But this one helps with mood. So if you notice that your mood gets affected by seasonal disorder, so lots of rain, or if your mood gets affected by other people's energy, right? So those energy vampires, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you live with a teenager who's a little bit moody. Maybe get her on some Asian ginseng, or for the whole family, spike the iced tea. It'll make you really happy. It works on brain performance, fatigue as well, right? These all work on fatigue, mental, emotional, physical. I prefer this one though for chronic fatigue and burnout, and then mental fatigue after really exerting yourself mentally, whether you are, a first responder, maybe ERT or firefighter or police officer or things like that, where your brain is just done at the end of your shift. It's a lot, right? And so drinking Asian ginseng in your elixir in the morning will help you for the next 24 hours. So it is great for burnout, so that you keep enjoying your job.
Love that. All right, number 4.
Rhodiola. So we all are familiar with rhodiola. Burnout, right? We love prevention of burnout. It's great for anxiety. It's great for ADD, right? Can't focus, concentration. Helps with dopamines. Helps with balancing your levels out of your happy hormones, so that you're not too high, not too low, no crash. And this one's actually had proven studies for fighting against the risk of Alzheimer's. So that's pretty cool too. There's lots of studies around rhodiola and Alzheimer's, as well as neurological conditions like Down syndrome, autism, and ALS, and all that fun stuff.
That's really interesting, because I'm very familiar with it, but I'm familiar with it in terms of performance sport as a oxidative adaptogen, and for in the rowing world, we would be popping rhodiola all the time during our stress cycles for training. Yeah. And the interesting thing, from what I heard, again, this is what I heard, was it's used by the Sherpas in Tibet to handle the oxidative stress of going up into the Himalayas.
Yeah. And what happens is it helps carry oxygen to the brain. And what people don't realize is when you have neurological conditions, the facilitation of oxygen to the brain, there's too many free radicals, things like that. That's what it was originally for. And then they realized we can use this in sports for aerobic and anaerobic, and for lactic acid, and for, all of that. So yeah.
Cool.
It's really, really cool for that.
All right. Number 5.
Shazandra. So it sounds like a girl's name. Easy to remember. Shazandra. Sounds like a bad Friday night. So this was used tremendously for studies and research around osteoporosis, and I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's called sarcopenia, which is another condition that affects your DNA damage, brain neurons, neurotransmitters, all that fun stuff. So this is great for your DNA, for your brains, for your gut brain, and for your bones and muscle endurance, stamina, and muscle fatigue.
Wow.
You can see how all of these together for your fitness takes you to that next level.
It's like a super cocktail,
It is.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And number 6 on your list.
This this is another hard one for me to pronounce, but erythro. And so it's actually used for a lot of the Asian culture loves it because it slows down the aging process. So your telomeres, it helps with anti-aging, anti-stress. It supports your metabolic system. So as we get older, that the metabolic rate slows down. So it'll help you with weight management. It'll help you with your hormones in terms of how fast your cells turn over. So you want healthy cells and you want to get rid of the garbage ones. So that process, it helps with that. And it helps with the anti-aging. So it makes your skin look nice, longer, your hair stay dark or whatever longer, so you don't have as much gray hair. Helps the liver detox, which causes the gray hair. So all these different things. And it's used tremendously for your cardiovascular system, your heart health, your brain health. So anything that creates a disease in those sections, adaptogens help you maintain homeostasis. And then some of the other ones that people are familiar with are, medicinal mushrooms, right? Lion's mane, chaga, reishi, turkey tail, all those fun ones, right? And then you've got astragalus. Turmeric is another one. And then moringa, which a lot of people know about. So that's the green powder that people like, maca, and licorice root. And remember, you can have these in a tea. You can have these in a pill. You can have these in like a capsule. You can have these in a tincture, right? But a lot of these plants, you can extract the medicinal properties from the herbs or the root component.
Great. So just to go back to top 6 here, and there's over 20, gang. Ashwagandha, holy basil, Asian ginseng, rhodiola, schizandra, and erythro.
Yes.
Did I said it right? Okay.
Erythro.
Those are 6 powerful ones. Now you put them in a cocktail every morning. What do these all? Obviously, they all come separate. Are there certain blends out there? Does it matter how one takes them?
Well, it just depends. I would love to sit down with the individual, have a consult, and get to know what your body needs and get to know about your lifestyle. Are you more sedentary? Are you more active? Do you use your brain a lot? Do you use your body a lot? Like, what part of your body is stressed out the most? And then, me personally, I use all components of the body, the mind. So I'm being stimulated all day long. So it only makes sense for me to put a capsule of each one in a drink and have that in the morning. But you don't have to. You can just try one. I would recommend, if you're just going to try one, the most popular one would be ashwagandha, because everyone needs to reduce their cortisol and just overall stress, right? Stress is a killer. So that one is safe for everybody. And you can get that one in a capsule or a drink. I drink it every morning. And you want to give adaptogens at least 60 days in your body before you judge them. Okay, so let them work in your body. Let your body adapt to them. Awesome.
And lastly, I know we have to wrap up here too. Are there, because there's a million, I'm exaggerating, but there's a million ways to get your hands on plant meds, right? Like herbs and all that. Powders versus capsules, soluble, all these things. Are there certain things people need to look out for in terms of bioavailability and so forth?
Yeah, of course. So if you're looking for a good quality one, you want to make sure that it has third-party testing, it's organic. Take a look at what the capsule is made of, if it's synthetic or if it's plant-based, because that's going in your body. Take a look at the farm, maybe do a little bit of research or talk to a healthcare provider who does the research for you. Because you want to know what the makeup of the soil, you want to know the makeup of the fertilizer, you want to know the makeup of the farm, how many times do they cultivate and harvest? Like, there's a lot of things you want to think about. So we have here at the clinic, we have all of those characteristics checked off. Right. So we've done all the research. We've looked into it. We have all 6 of these adaptogens that are my favorite. We have all of them in the clinic in capsules. So you can buy them all individually. They are so far what I've seen, they're the best for bioavailability. They have all of the elements on the periodic table in the soil so that it's going into the herb. The water is filtered that they use. They don't harvest and cultivate too often so that you can really make sure there's nourishment in the soil. And they do third-party testing, which is extremely important. And then also the capsule is plant-based. So it's organic, it's non-GMO. So, the bioavailability has been proven. There's tons of testing, and they're very transparent with their website.
Love that. That's great. Because I know people are out there looking and can go and get their hands on anything these days. Amazing conversation, Ariel. Adaptogens, something out there for all of us, gang, to take the next step, whether it is a consultation with Ariel, whether it is going on your laptop and just doing a little bit more research on some of these top 6, if you will. They are a game changer, 100%. Now, Ariel, before I let you go, June, the month of June is here, and we still have another week and a half. We have a June promotion going with Vitality Wellness World, which is kind of like a month-long Father's Day promotion. So we are extending the offer for anyone to bring in their father to the clinic for a Zyto scan, which is a hormonal body scan. For their dad, free of charge. It's a $100 value. Is that correct?
So it's called a Zyto scan. So if you were to call in with reception, you would book in for the hormone body toxic scan. It's $100, absolutely free. So there's no hidden cost. There's no charge. Bring your dad in. We're going to go through all 11 body systems. We're going to take a look at his stress response, his cortisol, his gut health, his hormones, and all of his organs. So we're going to see where dad is at and what dad might need in terms of nutritional support and possible adaptogens.
Love that. Amazing. All right. Thank you, Ariel. You are amazing. Thank you for our community for tuning in. We got some good questions today. Appreciate that engagement, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Cheers.